Hi. So what we got going on here today is, well, one, I'm just kind of checking all these buckets to see what amount of liquid I can skim off the top and put into this bucket here. These are all most of the leftover glazes and slips that were left here in the basement, in the downstairs. So as I had mentioned before, these have all been cataloged in a spreadsheet. So we've indicated what the material is, at least like what it says that it is, written on the side of the bucket. I've written down what condition the material is in, the volume of material within the container. So now we're in a stage of kind of dealing with the material. We had gone back and forth a couple of times trying to figure out what we should do with this. So for archival purposes, we thought like maybe we should just, lock down all the lids and just store it somewhere. And then maybe someday in the future someone would want to like rehydrate it, get it back to a usable consistency. And see what the material actually looks like. But when it comes right down to it, we don't have the storage space for this. So what we've elected to do is we did keep a few of the glazes and slips, and I'll show you that here in a bit. But for the others, we've decided to let them go completely dry, which most of them already were. We're going to completely dehydrate them and then properly take care of that material, wash out the buckets, and then kind of just start over from there. We don't really feel that we are putting the knowledge of these glazes and slips at risk because we do have it written down what they are. We already know that in a number of Jeff's notebooks, the recipes are present. And then also there's some pretty common glazes here. Like there's several Val Cushings here that for those of you in the ceramics world, you know that they're readily available. So after kind of thinking about it in that way, we didn't feel too badly about getting rid of that material because again, like even though this is a relatively large building, we just don't have the space to be storing just all of these buckets that have like maybe, this much or even less material in them for some like, infinite period of time. That isn't what this space is going to be used for once we kind of get the archive wrapped up. So that's what I'm working on here is kind of continuing that dehydrating process. Now, as I said, I did elect to keep a few of them. I'll show you that here. So I'm going to walk behind the camera, get us turned around. Oop, sorry about that. So this is the glazing, part of the glazing station. One task that I'm going to work on today is I'm going to move this shelving unit here further to the left so it's not obstructing the window. But these are some of the glazes and slips that we chose to keep. Because there is a lot of material left in it, so that was like one reason for keeping it. But then the other reasons are it's identified as a cone 10, so I feel kind of like safe putting that in a cone 10 environment. But then the other is just because it just seems so like damn interesting. So like this one in particular, it says Bisque Slip Cone 10 from University of Illinois Notes. And I just find that absolutely fascinating, and can't wait to see what's up with that. It looks like it's in pretty good shape. It definitely needs to be mixed, but yeah, we'll see. And hopefully I'll remember to share the results with you in a future video. But so that's what's going on with these. Not all of these buckets have materials in it. Like this one is totally dry, so I've got this in the staging area to be cleaned up so that we can use the bucket for something else later on down the road. So that's what I'm doing with Glazes and Slips today. But one other thing that I wanted to show you is I think I can give you a clearer view of I guess, one of the early areas in kind of the flow of our makerspace here. I don't even feel like I'm using the right words there, but hopefully you understand what I'm saying. So this is where kind of we're going to bring all of our clay that's ready for making pots or whatever. So down here on this shelf is bags of the reprocessed clay that I found kind of like on this, buried in a shelf here in the middle of the downstairs. And what I've learned is that this reprocessed clay is it's a white stoneware. And I've got some of it rehydrated here, and I've used it a couple times, and I actually just fired it in the wood kiln at school, so it's pretty nice. So I have that here, but the purpose of this space here, so we have the shelves, wedging table, and then we have a scale here, is that in the other room here where the bisque kiln is, that's also where we're going to have the mixer. So that's where Jeff had it for making clay. Then I'm going to take the pug mill that's over here, and I think it's probably off camera, but the pug mill is here waiting to then be moved into that room as well. So clay will get mixed and pugged and then brought over here and then ready for use. And people can then wedge, and then up here we'll have buckets for that wedged material. That thing goes over here. Scale is ready to go. Yeah, and then that's it. So we have like that flow here, and then when people are done getting their clay ready, they can either move on to kind of like hand building, working with slabs. Here's where the instructional area will be here, or I can take it over to where I'll be primarily working, which is actually over in the corner where you just saw those glazed buckets. But yeah, so that's where it is, and it feels like it's coming together. I don't know if if the imagery of these videos is really kind of capturing that, but if I think of it, I'll try to maybe create a comparative montage where I'll walk us through this with video of where it is currently, and juxtapose that with photos that we have of the downstairs before we started touching anything. But yeah, that's it so far today. I don't want to kind of get myself too overwhelmed, which I have a habit of doing, but yeah, that's it. And then I'll just try to keep you updated. So thanks for watching.